Okay, so doing another injection video because I'm hoping to catch the pimple popper crowd kind of thing and people who like to watch somebody inject themselves. It's kind of a joke, but maybe I'm kidding, not kidding, whatever I can get. Now it's time for my injection. Tomorrow and the next day I get 2 days off. Woo! And I want to talk about something else. So sometimes when we look at people online, when we see people going through chronic illness, whether they're staying in a homeless encampment or just anywhere, we make judgments when they're going through the store, Trader Joe's, and they're using their EBT card. The cashier can make a judgment. They're going to make a judgment based on, and believe me, if you're in tune with yourself, you will feel this. And sometimes it's in your head, but a lot of times it's real. And I'm going to give an example right now because I'm wearing AirPods. So I got these AirPods I bought them as a gift to myself right when they came out, approximately, on a deal. And I bought them because they would be a good use for the stuff I'm trying to do. So sometimes we make investments in things that could help make us money, but also I had just made some money on a couple jobs in entertainment, and I took a portion and put it all towards my food costs and everything. But this was something that was sort of a strategic investment, the same way I've invested in sound equipment and everything else. So sometimes we'll look at someone and go, okay, well, how can this person afford AirPods, for example, which are kind of they're definitely an extravagance and maybe not even healthy for us. So I don't even use them that often, but we never know. I'm going to give the example of the parking lot where I'm staying now. Okay. In that lot, I'm driving a 2008 Subaru Outback that's pretty beat up on the outside. Even the Yakima box on it looks pretty dingy. But in the scheme of things, I think it's a very nice car, and I'm very grateful for it. And I have no shame in my game. I love my car. I wish it was a little different color. I call it the Poop Brown Mobile, but whatever. Maybe I'll get some time. I'll paint it a nice turquoise blue. We'll see. It's probably down the list of priorities. But in the lot where I stay with homeless people, and I use quotation because there's an extremely wide I'm trying to think, there's different types of people in different circumstances and based on where they are. There's people who are on Skid Row here that haven't had the time to plan. They didn't have a car when this happened, or they had to sell it, or they made some poor decisions. Well, in the parking lot, there's a Mercedes SUV. There's a Volvo SUV, pretty new. Every car is newer than mine. Some are rentals because people are trying to just rent a car to get to work. But everybody that's there is in a nicer vehicle, and we'll go, well, gosh, how could they have a Mercedes SUV and be homeless? Well, maybe they were embarking on a real estate career, and they decided, I can't drive people around. I'm going to project my image, and I'm going to take a lease out or get it. Maybe they got a deal. Maybe it was passed down to them. But whatever, regardless of how they got it, if we sit here and judge and be like, well, God, if they can afford that, how come they're here? Well, maybe it was a single mother who was embarking on her real estate career, and a series of bad circumstances, the market dropped, they weren't very good at it. They bought the car to drive people around to show them houses because they didn't want to drive around in like a beat up old Civic or something. And all of a sudden somebody in their family gets sick, they get in an accident, and they are very much unable to pay their bills, but they're stuck with this Mercedes SUV. And honestly, even if they have poor financial choices, we should help them and have compassion and not judge them. So not everyone's good with balancing their budget or being very savvy with money, even if they're at dire straits. You know, that's one of my really good skill sets is I use my food stamps, for example, and I extend those to the maximum by buying really nutrient dense foods like organ meats, which are cheap. But not everyone likes organ meats. And guess what? If they're going to not eat versus getting something that's palatable, maybe processed, don't judge them. So that's going full circle when you're going through the checkout line at a grocery. And, I joke that I throw out my EBT card like it's an American Express Black. Now, I'm not making light of it, but I'm trying to bring attention without putting it in people's faces and go, look, you may see my iPhone that was handed down to me that I'm preserving because I can't afford another one. You might see something I'm wearing, maybe even the leather fanny pack that looks nice, $10, $12 Marshalls. You don't know, based on the image of a person, even down to the glasses they're wearing, if they got them on a super budget deal. But then we go, well, wait, why is this person on social benefits? If we could get more people to stop judging and just have compassion, and we use so much energy to bust people who are faking it, who are taking advantage of resources, versus taking the individual, taking them at face value, and understanding that their struggle is their struggle, whether or not they're in a Mercedes SUV, a Volvo wagon, or they're in their tent on the side of the streets with addiction, potentially a mental illness. We just need to be good to people. And I know that I am noticing, especially with the presidency we have right now, and not to get political, but there seems to be more toxicity, more tearing down, more looks of disdain towards those living the way I am. Truthfully, it can happen to anyone. And so the message here is not just about my injection I'm about to do, but it's about trying to have space in your heart, in yourself, to take people at face value, to not make a judgment about them, whether they're using an EBT card, which is food stamps, whether they're living out of their car, whether you're judging where they've put their money based on their circumstances. Just try to help. And if you can intervene and you know someone and you're like, hey, I think we can save you some money in certain areas gently based on what you're doing, but you don't know their business. And you might not know in my circumstances why I have certain things that I have. For example, this car I bought from my father probably like 7-8 years ago, I don't know. And I bought it at an under market rate because he was trading in his car. And I got it at low mileage. So I knew at that point, because I was already ill, that I would have to drive this thing into the dirt and take really good care of it. But that's my circumstance. That's how I have a nicer vehicle, even though it's not nice compared to LA nice, than other people have, as far as in my circumstance. So we all have our own story, and I think it's important to make less assumptions. And I just hope that when you watch some of the stuff I put out, that's going to be one of the biggest messages I have, is to try not to judge people. Find a way you can help, or just smile at them. It goes a long way. And that's it. So now, for those, this is sort of like, I'm leaving people hanging that are only in for the injection. They have to deal with, they're fast forward through all my ramble. But now we're going to do the injection. So this is some of the strongest HGH and testosterone that I could find black market. So I may be looking skinny now, but in a few months I should be hulking out like this. I'll probably tear through a shirt like this. I'm joking. It's not. It's a peptide. So I'll go into detail about what it is, but it does not, this is not about any sort of hormonal replacement or anything like that. It's about overall inflammation reduction is the primary use. So I have a lot of inflammation, which many of us with chronic illness have. And truthfully, I think inflammation is the base of a lot of health issues, including for a lot of people, their mental health issues that we're finding, because there's a gut-brain axis, and overall inflammation, whether it's in the gut region or in the body, is going to affect the brain. So I'm not a doctor. I don't pretend to be one. I'm just a guy that has been walking a health path for a long time and reading and listening to lots and lots of seminars and podcasts that gives me just enough to know that I don't know a whole lot. But what I do know, the little bits, I'm going to pass down to you if you're following. All right? Boy, I am long-winded as usual, but got some energy today, so sorry. Not sorry. Those who hate my rambles will not be watching this. All right. And I do laugh at myself a lot. I know. Kind of obnoxious, but whatever. Now, here's my peptide in my little handy dandy bottle here. We're going to take that out here. We're going to uncap the needle. Get her ready. All right. So, bum 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 bum. Now, I'm on the second dose, which is 20. Sometimes it cooperates a bit more than others. So let's see if I can get these bubbles out. Let's do that again. And any nurse or anybody who's got tips on how to do this without getting any bubbles and stuff, let me know, because I'm a rookie and always room to improve and be as safe as possible. So, pinch my skinny fat here. I gotta get, and I take a deep breath. Ooh, and that one hurt a lot. So I'm gonna take that, clean it off. Sometimes you go into a spot, I don't know why, and it hurts. And so move on down the road. And you go somewhere else. Oh, and the important part, you rub vigorously, and I still get the willies. This is my 5 times 3, my 15th injection by myself, and I'm still getting the willies, and I think I still get the willies no matter what. So, but it helps to have you guys watching for some reason, if anyone's watching, because it feels like what I've been missing this whole time, excuse my not running nose, support, moral support. And we all need that. Some more than others, but I need it, and I'm reaching out for it now. So those that can pass this along, please, please, I'm pleading as a 45, not quite 45, 44 and almost 45. What is 11 months out of 12? It's not 3/4. You guys are better at math than me. So as a YouTuber trying to do this, I need people to subscribe. I need people to pass these along to other people who think it would benefit. All right? So I'm going to be doing videos about living on the streets, homelessness in general, healthcare advocacy, treating Lyme disease, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, autoimmune disease, osteoporosis, chronic kidney disease, Sjogren's, autoimmune, hypothyroidism, Qigong, Tai Chi, yoga, meditation, all sorts of things. And I hope that part of it hits an audience and resonates, because this is my only option for right now as I'm recovering, is to try to at least gain some support. But thank you for watching as always. I'm gonna go and do my qigong and meditate and catch some of this sun. And till next time, peace.